everybody. This is Jackie Clayton, editor of Recruiting Tools, and I am so excited that you're here for our webinar with the hardest working man in recruiting, Dean DaCosta. But I want to explain some things at first. I know you're familiar with this, but I'm going to do it anyway. By default, you have joined us through your computer system, and you're in listen-only mode. If you'd like to use the webinar using your phone, find the audio pane on the right side of your screen and select Use Telephone. That display will be in the dial-in information and the access code you need. Second, how you participate. Again, all of you are in listen-only mode. In plain English, that means you will not have the ability to speak directly with our presenter during the webinar, but you can ask as many questions as you want. Don't be shy. Just type the question into the question pane and hit send. Did you like that? I read it. I was so worried about it that I read it.
I thought it was well done, personally.
Thank you. I appreciate it. In any case, yes, we do have our favorite partner, I should call him, Dean DaCosta, helping us today, talking about tips, tricks, and of course, our favorite Chrome extensions and some things like that to get us to be able to do some recruiting better. In case people don't know who you are, Dean, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, yeah, kind of.
You can do it.
Yes, I know. I just, yeah. So my name's Dean DaCosta. I've been recruiting for over 20 years. I've been to every SourceCon there has been since the beginning of time, back when wheels were square, and yeah, that's really about it. Been around a while, been doing what I do for a while. I do a lot of writing and stuff like that and video blogging and stuff like that to try to give back to the community. I don't want you all to have to deal with what I dealt with when I first started recruiting. Here's your recruiter, here's your computer, deal with it. No training, just here's your computer. So it kind of sucked. So that's it. Now, and I got to figure out how to share my screen.
Right, exactly. We're going to be able to get this together. I promise. So it can't be that hard, right?
I don't know. I'm looking right now. I can share my webcam, but that's not what I want to share. Preferences probably isn't going to help me a whole lot. Alexa, how do you do this? Let's see what preferences does. Preferences is going to show my screen. I don't want to do that though.
Yeah, you want to share your screen.
No, I mean not share my screen. It's going to show me it's going to allow me to share my camera. I don't want to share my camera. I want to share my screen, and I don't see how to do that here. Unlock pane from control panel. Somebody here better figure, someone help.
I got it.
Oh, there we go. Now we can show my screen. Yay, me. Let's see. So someone tell me if you see this Facebook page, which I'm getting rid of right now. Can everybody see that screen?
We can see it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
All right. So we're ready to start then. Yay, go team fight. All right. So since we're just starting out and I have no idea, we don't have any questions as yet, I'm going to start showing a couple of things that I think are really important. So the first thing I want to show you guys is this. And unfortunately, I'm actually going to go ahead and use HireTool to start this bad boy off. We're going to actually do a search in Facebook. I have no idea what this thing is. Dock pane control button. Okay, so I'm going to do a search in Facebook for people, and the reason I'm doing this is a couple of reasons. One, I want you to see what else what else HireTool can do. Plus, I want to show you a very important tool for those of you that like to scrape data like I do. So we're going to do Seattle. We're going to look for people in Seattle. We're going to add another key term. We're going to go ahead to job. We're going to type in just developer. I'm not going to get too fancy here. And we're going to do one more again, job. By the way, this time we're going to pick on Amazon. Sorry, anybody from Amazon. I just felt like picking on you today. I apologize. And then we're going to run our search. And what it's going to do is run a search that's going to find, down here. I added a key term. Meant to do this search. It's going to run a search in Facebook looking for people who are the title developer in the Seattle area working at Amazon, and evidently I messed up, so let's see why. We're going to go back here. This is why I love doing this live, because do it live you get to see things that may happen. Oh, that's why it's location. That should be job. My bag. That's why. Can't have a location Amazon. Okay, there. I don't care how many people show up. Doesn't matter to me. I did say Amazon. Some of these people probably all worked for Amazon at some point in time. I'm really not worried about any of this. This is just so I can show you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open Phil Boggle. as soon as it's done loading, and I'm going to open it. And this is the important part because Facebook has 3 times more people than LinkedIn. It is a great place to go source, but the problem is it's really hard because you don't see email addresses. You pretty much the only thing you got is their name and where they work. And you're hoping that you can contact them through Facebook, but again, it doesn't always work. But HireTool has now got the capability where it actually will find you info if it can. As you saw, it said, hey, verify which person, because there are several pictures here. Now we can view insights. This is on Phil Boggle. So look, I've got his breakout of his skills, his peer ranking, his experience level, his compensation, and what's this? An email address in Facebook. This is the only tool that can find you all that info on people in Facebook. And this, by the way, is less than, well, actually, it's the 13th, so it's a week old. This came out just special for SourceCon, which just ended last week, and that's what you got. Now, the other thing about it that's really cool, and people don't know you can do, is if you go into the workspace, and mind you, again, the tool is HireTool. It has a Chrome extension. It has its own tool, and here it is. I'm going to go into Pipeline, and the reason I'm going into Pipeline is because guess who's there? Phil Boggle. And I can download that to a CSV and upload it to my ATS CRM, and I will get all the analytics, all the notes. By the way, I can leave notes. I could leave a note in there saying contacted them on this date, whatever I wanted to do. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there's a place for notes. And I could have added them right to a folder. You can create folders to stick these people in. And that's what's so really cool about this is that it automatically saves stuff for you. And that makes this a really, really, really great tool, in my opinion, of
Hey,
course.
Dean, Jackie
Yes,
Smansky asked a question, and thanks, Jackie, for being here. Do you have to pay for HireTool?
there's a free version and then there is paid version. So there's two different. You get the free version's pretty much almost everything, but you get only so much per month or whatever. And then the paid is, whatever it is. So yeah, there's a free version and a paid version. Just like with any, most tools out there, if they're any good, they will have a limited free version where, like, say you get 50 contacts a month, 50 emails a month, whatever, and then every month it resets, and then paid ones for those who need more. And so this
So,
is no different.
what you're showing right now, are those paid features or are those free features?
No, everything I'm showing you right now are free.
All
I
right.
haven't showed you any of the pay stuff yet. I can. You see this little import button? This import button will allow you to import an Excel spreadsheet. And as long as and these are that you have to have them formatted properly. And I already have one together formatted so I can email it to anybody. All you got to do is email me, and I will email you CSV formatted properly. And by the way, y'all are recruiters and sources. Y'all should be able to find my email, because if you can't, you're in the wrong job. It's easy. I'm easy to find, so not trying to be just joking there. But yeah, if you need to email me, it's really easy. Pro43@comcast.net, and I can send you it. But you need 2 pieces of information, first name, last name, and either an email address or their LinkedIn URL. And they will go, and it can be work email or home email, it doesn't matter. And they will go out and find you all their other social sites, personal emails, phone numbers, whatever they can find on that person. To give you an example, I'll show you one that I put in there. And this is a brand new feature too. So please understand that they're still tweaking, still making it better. So I'm going to show you one that I did. Just so you can see what it did find. Oh, that one won't work. It's only one person. I tested it a lot because I was trying to get it. Okay, here we go. So I sent this one. There's 72 people here. And as you can see, it found an email there. It didn't find an email for the next few, but then it found another email. Didn't find it. Then it found email and phone number. Then it didn't find anybody. Then email. As you can see, and it's getting better. They're constantly tweaking it. And they will, as they tweak it and make it better, this will rerun to try to find information. Some of these people they didn't find information on, I already knew they weren't because there was nothing to be found. I purposely put them in there knowing there was nothing out there to find. I just wanted to see what it would do. But as you see, it did find probably half to 2/3 on that page it found. And that's pretty cool. And that's a huge lifesaver for me. What that means is I can go on LinkedIn. I can do a search on LinkedIn, and I'll show you what I mean. Unless there's other questions, I'm going to go into LinkedIn. I'm going to regret it, but I am going to go into LinkedIn. And the reason I'm going to regret it is because LinkedIn is about as fast as a snail carrying a safe, carrying a house, walking through the mud. Oh, Night Rider.
Oh,
For
while
those of
it's
you,
doing the Night Rider, let me ask you a couple of questions on
oh, you
HireTool.
caught what I meant by that. For those of you that don't
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Night Rider was a car that could talk, and that was what its eye did, back and forth.
We're showing
And
our age yet again.
And the oops thing is like every time I go in there once it says oops, and then I have to reset it and it works. Stupid. It's really so silly. But anyway, I don't
Well,
want to. I'm trying to be nice.
well, Amy had a question. She wanted to know
Amy who?
that
Amy
I'm
who?
not telling you, Esri.
Okay. No, I just
So,
like to know because I know a lot of Amy's.
well, there's a lot of Amy's, but
I
she
thought it
wanted
was.
to know
I
if,
figured it would be Amy Miller because she loves to just mess with me when I do these. So I figured it was Amy Miller.
well, she wanted to know if when people put on privacy settings for Facebook, does HireTool allow you to see those people as well? Is that something people are getting around, or have you experienced
So
that?
here's what I can tell you. I do know there are privacy features. Um, so far, I have actually specifically written a string in, not written, but used a string in Facebook that I know would pick somebody that is private. It's a friend of mine actually, and I unfriended him and told him so he wouldn't panic. Oh my God, you're unfriending me. So I just told him, hey, I'm just doing it because I'm testing something, and I still got this. It still got the info for me.
Got it.
So I'm guessing it gets around it, although I can't confirm or deny that. I've only tested it on like 6 people, so I'm not sure. And then, yes, I refriended him before he went berserk. But anyway, so I can't say for sure, but I'm thinking yes. The other thing you got to remember is you have the option of X-raying into Facebook. And if you X-ray into Facebook, even if their security settings are set to private, you still will get something. Usually it's the minimal information is what you'll get, which all you need. All you need is first name, last name, and where they work. That's really all you need. Because think about it. If you can get the first name, last name, where they work, you can figure out their work naming convention for their work email, and then you can still use that to stick in the HireTool and let HireTool find all the contact, all the other, including personal stuff. But it won't necessarily just use Facebook. It'll cross-reference them on LinkedIn, it'll cross-reference them on the web, it'll cross-reference them on everywhere. I mean, it cross-references all over the web to bring you back the info. So you got to remember, privacy settings are great, but there's always more than one way to skin a cat.
All right,
If,
perfect. And
if it's so private and all you get is the first name and last name, just simply highlight them, use the LinkedIn search tool, search for them on LinkedIn, you find them on LinkedIn, and then HireTool works. Before I did this, I did run into a few people where it was private, but you could still see their name. I just cross-referenced them. Cross-referenced on LinkedIn and found 2 of them. Another person I cross-referenced on GitHub found them. All I got to do is find them somewhere where I have just enough information for these tools to work. And let me remind you, everybody, I speak about tools a lot. These tools are things that can, if you're really good at what you do, you can do everything these tools can do without the tools. But here's what it does, and I'm going to give you an example. What HireTool just did in Facebook, I can figure out all that on my own. But it would take me a lot longer than HireTool did. HireTool took 30 seconds. It would probably take me 20 minutes or more. So that saves time. That's what the tools are really about. So before you newer recruiters start saying, "Oh, I got all these tools. I don't need to learn how to do Boolean. I don't need to know how to do semantic. I don't need to know how to do natural language. I don't need to know how to X-ray. I don't need to know how to find email address." No, yes, you do need to know. Tools come and go. Some companies have security on the computers where you can't even use most of these tools. Learn the basics first. Learn how to do Boolean. Learn how to X-ray. Learn how to do natural language semantic. If you don't know what that is, type a note asking and I will explain it to you. Learn the basics, because if you do, you will always be able to be successful with or without tools. And I say that because I just did a thing at SourceCon where I was supposed to talk about tools. I had to take time to talk about X-raying and Boolean because not a lot of people in the presentation, there was like 160 something, knew enough about X-raying and Boolean. I mean, I was asked about X-raying when I started explaining it. They were like, huh? I tried trying to explain to them about a number range, and they didn't even know what the Boolean operator is for that. So please learn the basics first. Then learn all the tools, because then the tools will make more sense to you.
for some of the people, I'm seeing some of these questions. Like I'll get to Dean later. Some of the things that we have to explain, like during the course of an hour, would take like a little bit longer than we can do that. It like about X-raying, if you're not sure about natural language or semantic language, I'll send it to them. And there's some other things, give you some references so that we can see that. In any case, with the new piece that is going on with LinkedIn, of course, some of the changes, why don't you go ahead and
Uh,
show us some of the things that you're using in order to find people over there on
well, I'm going to pick on, like, first of all, understand that I could just as easily have used HireTool to search in LinkedIn. If they have pre-constructed Boolean strings, there's where it'll go ahead here. I'll use Android because I love picking on Android, where it constructs a Boolean string for you, and you can delete things, you can add things, you can do pretty much whatever you want, and then you get to wait and everything, and you can run them. Now you can run them in LinkedIn. You can X-ray into LinkedIn using Bing or Google. You can even X-ray into GitHub, Facebook, Twitter, Indeed, SlideShare. FYI, guys, SlideShare has a boatload of resumes. If you're not searching in SlideShare, you might want to seriously think about it. Boatload of resumes. At any rate, then a general resume search, and then cloud, I believe is Zing. Okay, you always get. Then specific healthcare, specific for graphic design, and then even in education research. But here's the thing: not only that, but you can save your searches to run so that you always have them. It keeps a history, plus you can save them as a favorite, so you always have them. You have to keep redoing them. In addition, it has a smart search, which allows you to do everything kind of by hand. You can type in the skill one at a time, and it fills it in for you. In addition to that, it has a JD search, which means you can actually upload your job description, and it'll create a Boolean search for you, which again can be used in any of these places. So that aside, the next step is, what do you do? Now, if I open up Harrison Minshew, you will see the same information like you did on Phil Boggle in Facebook. You'll see all that nice, all this nice, pretty stuff, assuming it's available. And it'll automatically save that person to your desktop. But what happens if you want to grab a mass quantity of these? Well, that's where a tool called Data Miner comes in. Now, be prepared in advance. All these LinkedIn recipes. A recipe is something designed to scrape information off a particular page based on the way that information is there. Almost all of these are going away. You can thank LI and its far-reaching smacking of data miner's hand. However, you can create your own recipe to do exactly what you are doing here, and I'm about to show you how. I've already created one. I'm going to go to LinkedIn search results, and I'm going to push this. Now remember, the key pieces we need are first name, last name, and LinkedIn profile to upload into HireTool and get all the analytics, correct? Well, guess what? First name, last name. I even get their title. I get their location. I get whatever the current information is, if there is any, but I don't really care. I get their LinkedIn profile. That's all I care about. I take this and upload it into HireTool. Within minutes, I'm going to get all the contact information, all the analytics, everything I need. Now, you're probably saying, well, that's great, but that's only 10 people. I need more because I had 500 results. Well, this auto-paginate, that means automatically go to the next page, the next page, the next page, and keep going until I stop it. So you see this counter down here? It says accumulated rows 10. Watch what happens when I start the auto-paginate. It takes a few minutes. We're not going to do them all. We're only going to do a few. So you see it says 10. In a minute or two, that's going to say 20. Maybe less than a minute. You never know. A lot of it just depends on going back and forth, API calls, scraping, all sorts of neat stuff. While it's doing that, you're going to notice, see, it says 20, and look, it changed up here. Now I have 20. And it will keep going all the way through until I stop it. Now, you can download this to a CSV, and all you got to do is copy the names into the Excel spreadsheet that's designed for HireTool, and the LinkedIn URL, and let HireTool do the rest for you. By the time you're done, you could have 500 people with email addresses, phone numbers, or whatever else they can give you. You'll have everything you need to have. So it's real simple and easy. And like I said, I've already created the import thing. See, there it is. That's all you need. Full name, email, phone, location, LinkedIn, GitHub, Facebook, Twitter, Google. So you put the full name here, the LinkedIn here, and submit it to HireTool and give it some time and come back and you're good to go. Usually a few minutes. It's pretty instantaneous. And everything. So there you go. It's really that simple. And 6 people want to be my friend. Yay.
Hey, check something out for a second. So, and I
What?
just answered, a lot of people have questions about the recipe. I know that we
Oh, by
talked
the
about it.
way, wait a minute. Now, for those of you that don't speak recipe and don't know how to program, they've created something that makes it so. Haven't you guys ever hear those old Geico commercials? So simple, a caveman can do it. Well, this is so simple, a baby caveman can do it. This is a recipe creator, and there's a video on how to do it.
What's a
All you got
recipe?
a recipe. Here, I'll show you actually, rather than me just doing this. I will show you what a recipe is. Let me go to my search results again. You see all this down here? all this little code and everything where it says do this, do that, do this, that's what tells this what to do. It tells it to, this information goes here, this information goes here. It is what tells the scraping tool where to put the information you get. So as an example, if I create a recipe, and I'm gonna walk you guys through it. We're gonna create a recipe, but I'm not gonna walk you through all of them. I'm just gonna walk you through them. So as an example, here you go, because this is the recipe that we were looking at. You notice the big block here, Aaron Green? That's the row. I told it this is a row. Underneath that, I want columns, and I want name to be one of them. And you see how it's in pink? That's name. Now let's go down to the data and see. Names. The next one is title. Look what happened. See how it changed to the title info? All I did was highlight it, basically using, I went ahead over it like this, and you push shift, and it automatically highlights. You see all this programming down here where it says jQuery level, data, and all that? That's what the programming is. Let's go over here and see. Yep, see? Perfect. If I go to location, it goes down again to where the location is. And if you see all the programming, and I go over the data, and there's the locations. Oh, wow, I didn't specify the US. That was dumb of me, but it doesn't matter. Current, that's this information down here, which could be their current title and usually their company. And again, you see where it says, and then I went over here, data, and there it is, matches up perfectly. And then URL. Now, this is a little trickier because the URL part comes from a specific location. It's actually up here, and you have to specify LI URL. You got to specify URL. But look what comes, URLs. And then as far as the next page is something that's done all the way at the bottom where I just make sure it says that's next, just go to the next page basically. So basically what they did is they made it so that instead of having to know how to program to do this, you can do it without knowing how to program. You basically just got to highlight the field and click shift and it will grab the needed info to automatically program the recipe for you. It's really that simple. The recipe is just nothing more than a series of commands to tell the scraper what information to take and where to put it. Does that make sense? Or did I just go right over everybody's head? Silence.
That's a great question. Well, of course, they're all muted. But I think
well, yeah, but okay, since when has them being muted stopped you from talking?
Oh, yeah, that. Okay. So, I mean, it is fast. I do want to remind everybody, we are recording it, and we will be sending you a copy or a link.
Go to the, okay, guys, go to the data miner page, go to the data miner webpage, and I'm going to get you there. I'm going to go right here, and then I'm going to go data miner. And there are videos upon videos upon videos on how to do this, step by step by step by step.
And where else can they find it, Dean?
They can find it on my YouTube page. Just go to YouTube, sign Dean DaCosta. When you get there, then put data miner or data or scraper, whatever they're calling it these days, since the name changes from time to time, and there'll be videos there. Now, this specific one on how to create a recipe is not there yet because, like I said, it only just happened last week, and I've been a little busy. However, if you find Susanna Conroy's YouTube page, we just did a YouTube video together on how to do this. And she, for those of you that don't know her, she's a great recruiter. She actually won the hackathon at this last SourceCon, so she knows her stuff. And it should be up on her YouTube page. And if it's not, let me know, and I'll email and go, Susanna, we just did this. Put it up, please. And I will be doing one as well, but I want to let her get hers up first because she was very nervous about doing one the first time, which is why she asked me to do it with her, just to keep her calm and cool, collected, and all that. I don't know why. It's not like anybody really wants to hear anything I have to say anyway. So, anyway, so there you go. So that's it, plain and simple. And now you'll notice I've talked about two tools. People
now, is
always
it
say,
Dean. Chrome extension, Dean?
Yes, there's Chrome extensions for both. They're right here. Recipes right there.
Okay.
It is a beta, and there he is, right there, recipe creator. And it's actually doing pretty good. As you can see, March 18th, that was like literally, it's just been updated, but it actually came out on the 13th. And let's see what the reviews are. Not happy about the cost. Well, you know, dude, here's the problem. Number one, there's free, but you're limited on how many recipes you can make and or how many you can, I mean, okay, something, people who say, I'm not happy about the cost. Okay, you know what? Here's an old saying. Anything that's totally free is probably not a good thing because that means something's not right. I know some tools in here that are really good, but they're totally free, and as a result, they don't get updated. Like there's some tools that I used to use with LinkedIn that are free, and they're great. They don't work 100% right anymore because of the updates in the UI. People got to make money. There are, I'm not going to lie, both this and HireTool have a paid version that allows you extended functionality or maybe more recipes or more pulls or whatever. But they also have free versions. Good Lord Almighty, stop biting the hand that can feed you. Next, or if you do it too much, they might say, "Well, fine. If you're going to complain, if you're going to sit there and complain because I charge whatever to give you unlimited, then why should I even bother giving you free? And you're not going to use it because you don't like the fact that part of it's paid, then why should I even bother? It's not that expensive. I mean, that's the part that annoys me. If you go out there and look at scraping tools, the good ones, they're expensive as hell. This is relatively cheap. A matter of fact, free. Keep your data private. Scrape 500 pages a month. Use public recipe. Restricted on some domains. You can't control that. 500 pages a month. And you're complaining that's not enough? Fine. Then go up to a better plan. For $19, you can get all this stuff. For $49, you get 1,000 a month. $49. And you can get 1,000 scrapes a month. First, personally, me, if you need more than 500 a month, something's wrong. But that's me here. You notice the difference between the free and the paid. This is keep your data private, scrape 500 pages, use public recipes, restricted in some domains. It can't help that. No support. They won't support the free one. I'll support it. Just call me. I know these guys. They're in Seattle. I know them well. I know this tool backwards, forwards, left and right. There's nothing I can't do on it. And wow, that sounded really conceited. Let me take that back. I'm not that. I'll help you. I'll do the best I can. And here's the best part. If I can't, I can get support out of them. So I will contact them with your question, like it's my question, and I'll tell them. If you need more, I get it. You want to have automatic forms. You want to have scrape all domains and email support. Great. Okay, there you go. For 19 a month, $20. Ooh, wow. 240. Let's see. I'd be willing to bet you if you do what I just told you and you needed Java developers and you scraped 100 people and you put them into HireTool and got email addresses, you're going to make a hire or two out of that. I'd be willing to bet you, and I'd be willing to bet you that hire or two is going to be worth to you a lot more than $20 a month. If you're an agency recruiter, if you're doing a permanent placement, a $100,000 person, the company made $20,000, you're probably getting about $3,000 to $5,000 out of it. You can't afford $20. Something's wrong with you. And then if you need more, fine, $50 a month. Ooh. And remember, these are tools that you get to help your profession, which means it's tax deductible. A lot of people don't realize that. It doesn't start getting expensive until you get to the bit, and that's even not bad. Business, $99 a month. Okay, still not a lot. And then enterprise, big, 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 $200 a month. Still not a month. That's your company going to pay that anyway. That's still only $2,400 a month. You look at that and compare it to, say, Import.io, which is another really good scraping tool. If I remember correctly, they're about 3 times more expensive and a lot harder to use. The recipe builder makes this dummy-proof. I say that with all kidding because
I was about to say.
dummy is a point of reference. So, I guess I don't know what to say, and that's why when people say things like not happy with the cost, then don't use it. Use a free one and see how happy you are. The free ones won't give you support, and they don't do as good a job. I know that because I've got a free one on here. I love it. It's my backup, but it doesn't do as good a job as Data Miner does, and it doesn't work as many places as Data Miner does. My recommendation is to always try the recipes first. Don't try to recreate the wheel. If the recipe exists, don't recreate it. Point in case, we're on Facebook. Wait for Data Miner to open. It does take a second too. And look at all these already created Facebook pages. Why in the blue blaze do I want to recreate the wheel? Find one that works. They don't all work. Find one that works. When you find one that works, you keep it and you use it. Like this one obviously is either slow as heck or just isn't working. You got to remember, they don't create these recipes. These public recipes are created by other people. Oh, wait a minute, it's thinking. It's a little circles going around. I don't know. Yep, there you go. So what did it get me? It got me their Facebook URL, their name, their mutual friends, which I could give a flip less about, and their additional info, which is their company name and title. So think about it. Everyone got me a company name. So you know what I'm going to do? I would download this. I would go ahead and keep the name, plug it into the HireTool thing. I would go ahead and subtract out everything but the company name. Then I would use a handy-dandy little permutator I have to get the right email addresses, work ones in, which would only take me a couple of minutes, then upload it to HireTool and let them find me all the personal stuff. So basically, I would take 5 minutes or less and come out with 26 people with all the information HireTool can find on them, which, as you saw, is quite substantial. quite. And this is, I like this one, so I'm going to save this recipe. We're going to save this as new because I like it. Now watch. Now I don't have to search anymore for the Facebook recipe. You know why? It's right there in my recipes. I saved it for myself. So now I don't give a flip about all these anymore. Don't need to search anymore. It works. If it stops working, then I'll look for a new one, or I'll create one myself. Odds are I'll create it myself because frankly, I enjoy doing it because it's kind of fun. Now, mind you, I was doing that, as you can see, this one here and this one here, these two here were ones that I created, um, but that's because I know how to program. But now that but I'll be honest with you, it took me probably 3 times longer than using the recipe creator takes me. And if you guys look at the video, you play with it, and you're still a little stuck, just email me. I'll arrange time. I'll share my screen, or you'll share your screen, and we'll walk through it together. I don't mind doing that, as long as it's not 100 people all wanting to need to do it now, because I do actually have a job besides this. So, but I'm willing to help anybody. All I got to do is ask. So in the meantime, are there any other questions?
Millions.
Or, well, I don't see a million. I do know a few
Well,
people drop off. What's the questions? And we'll go on. Otherwise, I'll just show more tools, more toys.
you're awesome. So somebody did ask. This is, I think it's Galena, and I'll try not to kill it.
I don't
Their name.
remember. Clean.
But the question was like, what's the advantage of using recipes rather than going to LinkedIn or LinkedIn Recruiter? Is that just the speed, or is there any other benefit for using that instead of
Well,
those types of
what
tools?
are you going to do in LinkedIn Recruiter? I mean, you're going to get a list of people. You still have to get the information out to do anything with it. So how are you going to do that? PDFs and just take each one separately? I mean, LinkedIn, okay, first of all, let's get real. If you use LinkedIn, no, I'm not saying not to, I'm not saying to, in LinkedIn Recruiter, you're going to get a list of people. I'm presuming you're going to save them into a folder. Fantastic. Yay, 2 thumbs up. Great. But now what? The only way you can contact them is via LinkedIn InMail, which right now has an average of 20% reply rate. However, if you scrape them out, stick them in HireTool, and get their personal email, your reply rate will go up significantly. So what are you getting? And just as a point of reference, and again, not bashing LinkedIn, there's nothing you can do in LinkedIn Recruiter that I can't do without LinkedIn Recruiter for free, utilizing a plethora of tools that are out there and available to you. As an example, you want to leave notes? HireTool will let you do that, so that's not a problem. You want to sit there and not have to see the same person over and over and over and over again? Data Recruit will let you do that, and that's free. You want to be able to stick them in folders? Well, it doesn't matter if you get them out of LinkedIn via HireTool, they're going to be stuck in a folder, so that's done. You want to be able to contact them, HireTool will find you personal ways to contact them. So what are you getting out of LinkedIn Recruiter? Don't say, oh, I can see everybody in LinkedIn, because you can't. Even with LinkedIn Recruiter, you still can't see everybody. You can if you X-ray in, though, which HireTool can let you do that. So again, I'm not against LinkedIn Recruiter. I have it. My company pays for it. If they took it away, could I still do it? Hell yeah. Would it take me a little longer? Yeah, it would take me a few minutes longer. I've done the timing, I believe, in LinkedIn Recruiter to get everybody into a folder, pretty and everything like that. If I remember correctly, it takes me about 5 to 10 minutes if I've done a good string. If I go ahead and have to do it via HireTool, it'll take me maybe 15, 20 minutes. So yeah, it takes me a little longer, but I don't have to pay whatever the heck the cost is, 200,000 a year or whatever. I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. Um, so I can still do it, you know, and if I don't, and I'll be honest with you, you'd be surprised the number of times I've done searches in LinkedIn Recruiter and said, wow, there's only 5 people. That don't work. Let's do the search outside of LinkedIn Recruiter. Let's X-ray, and oh, wow, look at that, 30 people. So there's nothing wrong with LinkedIn Recruiter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there is. I'm just telling you that the benefit is you don't have to do emails, and you can get the information out of LinkedIn Recruiter. Right now, there's really no way to get it out of LinkedIn Recruiter cleanly. There's ways to do it, don't get me wrong, but it's not cleanly. I know several ways to do it. Scraping is one of them. So you use data miner if you created the right recipe, which I did. You can do it, you know.
Yeah, I had another. Well, there is another question. I didn't ask it. It is from Jackie Szymanski, and I hope I didn't kill it again. But she was asking about HireTool, and she was wondering if it has information on people outside of the U.S. because Connectifier is pretty limited with that. I guess she's still using that. And there's some other tools. But what if you're looking for people outside the U.S.?
That is an excellent question. And since I don't do that a lot, I do not know the answer to that question. So let's find out. Oh God, my Knight Rider oops. Now this, don't get me started. This aggravates me. You know, it's really funny when I was at SoSCon, I went to LinkedIn people and they actually were stupid enough to ask me what I thought of the new UI. Suffice it to say, they didn't like what they heard, but the good part is everything I complained about, they're already on top of fixing anyway. So hopefully the speed, this oops stuff, and all this other crap that we're getting will be fixed soon. So that's an excellent question. So let's do a test on this. I do know from experience that sometimes it finds some stuff, sometimes it doesn't. So now here's the one thing I tell you with HireTool. Right now, when it brings you back an email or phone number, it's not like other tools like, well, we're 90% sure we're 90% sure we're 10% sure we're 70. It's only bringing you back if they're like 95% or higher. So that means the odds are pretty darn good it's correct. However, soon that's going to change in that you will soon get what they know is the right number. And if they can't find or email, if they can't find the right number email, they will give you something and it'll either say unverified or 50% sure, 30% sure, whatever. And the reason they're going to start doing that is because for us recruiters, something is better than nothing. And that's because one, if it's 70%, if they think they're 70% right, they probably are. But more importantly, it at least gives us a starting point. So if they bring me back a work email and it's first name dot last name, but it doesn't work, that's okay because at least I know the naming convention is the first name dot last name. I can actually say, okay, it's not that, so let's go to the other possibilities. So it at least eliminates one possibility. So that's why they're going to be adding that in there. And that's just because I think you almost have to. So let's see if we can find somebody. I'm not picking on Saudi Arabia. Sorry. I think, yeah, let's pick on a different country. I'm just not doing it just because I don't want to. So let's see. Let's do location, and let's pick on England. Well, England should work. Let's pick on England, United Kingdom. Okay, let's pick on Paul Utting. The main reason I'm picking on Paul Utting is because I actually kind of know the guy. Him and I have exchanged an email or two. We're not connected beyond third, but that's just because we didn't see a reason to, but we have communicated. View in Recruiter. No, thank you. I'd rather view in non-Recruiter. If I want to view in Recruiter, I can do that. Now you're going to know, by the way, as I do these, if you see anything on this page and you're like, what's that, what's that, what's that, please ask, because I'll tell you what everything on my page is. So let's see what Howard found on Mr. Utting. For those of you that have left this thing, you guys are missing out because there are a few people who have gone. I guess it's not. Okay, here it goes. Here's HireTool. Sometimes it loads a little, it takes a little longer because it's searching. You can see it's still searching. Sometimes it won't find anything, sometimes it will. So we'll see. Paul Utting. Oh, wow, we got some insights here. Let's see what we got. First viewed today. Yay. By the way, it's binding the customer. So you guys know when you view the profile, right? You don't even need to worry about that. That's all good, good, good. Oh, my goodness gracious, an email address. Darn. So I guess the answer to that question is yeah, sometimes. Not all the time. Nothing's 100%, but I'd be willing to bet you
Well,
if I looked. I'd be willing to
I'm
bet you if
sorry,
I
you're
looked at that
breaking.
list, probably 70% of them will have some kind of contact info.
Well, let me ask you, do you recommend Lucia for something? Like if there's something you couldn't see, have you tried it in Lucia as well?
Lucia's already right there. Lucia pops out if it finds something. So by the time this page is open, if Lucia ain't open, I don't even have to worry about Lucia. I just move on. My order of preference when I look for contact info is first HireTool, and the reason is because it gives me more than just contact info. First of all, well, wait a minute, I don't even need contact information. First of all, should I even bother? Let's see. Skills are good, peer ranking's good, he's got the right there. Oh, may not be available, but I don't really care. I'm still going to go ahead and, I got, see what I'm saying? I'm going to look at the analytics to decide if I even want to be bothered to talk to him, because it just makes it so simple for me to look at the analytics and say, ooh, okay. And if they're a Java developer, I even want to look at the analytics more because I'm probably, or any kind of developer, I'm probably going to cross-reference them on GitHub to see and I'll show you what HireTool shows you on GitHub on somebody, by the way, in a minute. So that's the first thing I do. The next thing I do is, okay, great. Now, if HireTool doesn't have contact, Lucia hasn't opened up. Profit doesn't have any numbers in there, which means it found nothing. The next thing I do is I go up here and I look right here at Numera. See that +1? Numera is another tool that finds contact info, except I'm not signed in because I forgot to, because I shut down and shut out of Chrome because you have to do that every once in a while or Chrome gets stale. So let me sign in. Okay, and there's his email. One thing I do like is it's the same email as HireTool, which means it's probably the right email. But so I don't have to even look. I just go up here. Oh, wow, there's a number. So they obviously have an email. I also have contact out, but contact out pops open if it finds something. So I don't need to do all that. It does it for me. Then I also have email qualifier. Let's see. Yeah, he does not have an email. There is no email address for him on his page. If there was, it would find it and then it would match it against other social sites to try to confirm or deny the email. Right now, the only one that's fine is the LinkedIn support and Lucia support. So there's no other emails on this page. So it's kind of
You
like
talked about Loxo, we know whatever they want to call
Lucia.
it. People were asking about no Loxo, Loxo,
This one.
the AI thing. Yeah, you kind of went over it, but people aren't really
No, I
using it.
didn't just I didn't just mention it, but okay. I'll talk about it. I mean, it's no big deal, but I didn't say anything about it yet. But let's do it. Let's open up well, maybe we won't open up Loxo because Loxo is being silly today. There we go. Oh God, Lord Almighty! Now I gotta sign in. Now I gotta hope I remember my sign in. I don't always remember all my sign ins, so hang on. Let me see if I can remember this one. I've got too many of them. LOXO, LOXO. Which one are you? Oh, that one. That's pretty simple. I should have. Oh, that one. That's why. Unfortunately, we're in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn causes trouble for all these tools because it's so convoluted and slow. Oh, there we go. Back up. This is all the LinkedIn UI causing us trouble. Just so you know, I talked to him about it. Anything like this, it's just incredibly slow. Search authority at Comcast.net, and the password is. I bet you all thought I was going to tell you all what my password was. All right, come on, type. Let's see if it typed the right one or if it's screwed up. It's thinking. Now, Luxo is a complete ATS CRM with a little bit of extra oomph to it in that it'll find your contact information. It doesn't do it as quickly as HireTool and some of the other tools, but it does do it. There is a way to add CSV, and then it'll try to find info for you, but it does take several days. And for one person, it's totally free. For multiple people, it does cost. Um, and we're just waiting for me to sign in. There's not much I can do about it. Like I said, the LinkedIn UI makes everything work a little slower than we would like, which is
Well,
why I
while we're
almost.
waiting, you told us the area where you like in preference of how you like tools, and I think I know what it is. But why don't you finish on that? You like hire tool. You go to hire tool first. Where do you go second?
Second, it really just depends. Second, like I told you, it's determined by the tool. Lucia doesn't pop out, so I don't have a reason to even look at Lucia. If it had anything, it would pop out.
You mean,
Contact.
in other words, you're always looking at Lucia, like it's
Well,
always on.
no, it's not that it's always there. So if it pops out, then you look at it because it means it found something. So why wouldn't you? I mean, it does it for you. Contact out would pop out if it had anything. So basically, it's HireTool. You open up the page, Lucia has nothing. HireTool, you open up and do it with. Profit, there's no number there, so it has nothing. And then you come up here, you see Namira has something because there's a number. Contact out didn't come out, so there's no reason to look at it. And to be honest, in this case, it wouldn't matter because HireTool found me email, so I'd have no reason to go on. It'd be done, over. Don't need to go on. So it's kind of like the tools in this case, and I don't know why this is taking so long. I might reload the page and try again. Um, it's kind of like the tools kind of determine like here's contact out now coming on, but it's not coming on for anything. I mean, there's nothing there, so I don't know why it's popping out. It's kind of weird. But you see, it pops out when it finds info. My guess is it's my info it found. Like that's hard to do. I mean, literally, my 6-month-old grandchild can find my contact info. See, I hate this because it's just LinkedIn being stupid. It's the new UI eating up resources and taking too long. See, it's not a you, it's us. Give us another try. That's them. And unfortunately, Luxo only works in LinkedIn.
Well, I have another
So,
question while we're waiting. It's a really quick one. I know what the answer. I know what you're going to say, but it was asked a couple of times about scraping. Can you write something so you can scrape Taleo? Is what was asked.
well, number one, if you're using the web-based version of Taleo, then yes. If you're using the desktop version, then no. not, let me rephrase it. It still can be done, but you better know how to program really, 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 really well. You better talk to Taleo. You better talk to your own IT department because you could also get in trouble. If it's the web version of Taleo, then yes, that's really simple. I mean, it's like anything. Um, this is annoying. So I'm going to actually get totally out of LinkedIn and go back in LinkedIn and have it tell me it still won't work. So yes, it's just a matter of setting it to where you can read the right CRS mechanics, read the right data points. That's all it is. Scraping is about reading the data points and make sure the data that you want to scrape to put in the right place. That's really all scraping is. But yes, if it's the web-based version of Taleo, you can definitely go ahead and create something that will scrape it for you. Why you'd want to scrape out of your own ATS or CRM is kind of beyond me. But yes, it'll do it. So that's my first question. Why would you want to scrape out of your ATS or CRM?
Well, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm just asking because it seems kind of, I mean, it can be done, but I get it's got to be
Counterintuitive.
web. Yeah, it's got to be web-based. If it's not web-based, you're not going to really get much of nowhere about nothing. So that's part of the issue here. So let me try this again now and see if I'm going to go into, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to go into Rahel Ephraim. And that's just because one, I know her. She's married to a friend of mine. Two, we're first level. Three, she knows I use her profile for these types of things. And I'm not hiding the fact that I look at people. I just refuse to because I think it's ridiculous. If you're going to take time to look at them, why hide you're looking at them? That's just ridiculously stupid to me. So here's a great example. HireTool's here. We already know Profit found something. I mean, it's got a 4, so it found something. The other tools haven't yet, but it's still loading, so let's wait. And we'll do Luxo in a minute. See how it's still spinning? That's the new UI and their infinite wisdom. There we go, we stopped. So Luxo, if it found something, not Luxo, excuse me, Lucia, if it found something, should pop out. It hasn't, but I'm pretty sure they have something on her. My guess is, see, Namera's found something. So there's the number. Contact out. Where is contact out on here? Or did I close? No, I know it was right here. I don't know if they found something or not. Yeah, they did, but for some reason it didn't pop out, which is really kind of bizarre. I'm guessing it's the new UI causing trouble. Normally it would pop out for you. Lucia didn't find anything. That's why it didn't pop out. It would pop out if it found something, which is really bizarre. It didn't find anything because it normally does. I know on her in the past it has. It could be the new UI causing trouble. I don't know. And we already know HireTool does. So now, Luxo. So I pushed the Alexa button, which didn't do. There we go. Hey, there we go. Oh, we're in. That's great. So you have a choice of add to Luxo or Luxo Connect. I always pick Luxo Connect, and the reason I do that is and you can decide what candidates they are. You can go ahead and put a note. You can go ahead and select an agency. You can do all that. You can tag them, whatever you want. The reason I always pick Luxo Connect is because if you don't, it's not gonna find contact info for you. Okay, that was slightly bizarre. Let's try that again. That's the new UI being stupid as hell. What happens sometimes when you use these tools because in the UI it reloads the UI and it's not the tool, it's LinkedIn trying hard to get you not to. Similar, okay, successfully create person to recur forever or from Luxo is retrieving contact info. So it's already doing it right now. She's already in my Luxo account. So what I'm going to do now is go to my Luxo dashboard. Now I have it in here already pre-programmed. I just got to find it. There it is. Da, 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 There's Raphael F from again. And eventually, oh, and there's email address has already been found, LinkedIn profile, and whatever's passing for the resume. But there's the email address, and that is correct, by the way. It's already found. And you can download all of these people to a CSV or whatever you can upload to a CRM. It keeps track of companies. It gives you a whole plethora of reports. It has jobs. It has tasks. So it's like a CRM. It's like almost a complete CRM. And for those of you saying payments and all that, like I said, free. Run your business with Luxo ATS CRM, Luxo Chrome extension. That's for one person. This is access to customer support, data enrichment, resume parsing API, blah, 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 blah. Here's the pro version. Here's the premium version. So there is a free. Now somebody will say, well, that's too expensive. Yes, free is way too expensive. So there you go. Well, I'm being sarcastic because I think it's ridiculous sometimes. I mean, I don't like paying for tools. Don't get me wrong. I believe if you can find a tool that can do it for free, you should do it. But these people got to make money. So keep in mind that yes, free. Contact out example. I like Contact Out. You get 100 free credits a freaking month. If you need more, then you buy them. But 100 a month? Good Lord Almighty, what else do you want for free? Some people think, oh, it's a recruiting tool. It should be free no matter what, 100%. So how do they make their money? Are they just doing it out of their good graces? They got to make some
Agreed.
money, even if it's nothing more than covering the cost for making the tool and maintaining the tool. So anyway, good there.
Oh,
So
okay. Somebody asked a question because people have this question all the time, but what is your favorite ATS and why? If you have a favorite,
that's a
or
good.
if
I'm
you
going to
might.
be quite frank with you. I don't have a favorite, and the reason I don't have a favorite is because different ATSs do things. I mean, they're all basically the same. They all do certain things. It's just a matter of how it looks and how it does it that really changes. But I think the ATS is all based on how big your organization is, what you're accomplishing, what you're trying to do. I've messed with hundreds of them. Yes, there have been hundreds in my 20 plus years. I can't say I like any of them any better than others. There are some I hate, but I can't say I like some any better than others. Um, because what I've learned over my life is sometimes it's not the ATS's problem, it's your company's infrastructure's problem, or your security protocols, or whatever the case may be. There are some really good out there. Like if to be honest with you, if I was a one-person shop, Luxo would work really well. But then again, so would the Gmail CRM that you can get for free as a from the Chrome extension store. JobVite I really like, but I really like JobVite because of other things it can do. But I really like it. I've used it. I mean, I think it's a pretty good tool. I think the CRM side of it needs a little work, not a lot, but the ATS side of it I really like because, hey, I got this guy. Here's my notes. Just email my hire manager, and the notes, everything you need are right there. It makes it simple for you. And there are other tools that do that. JobVite posts a lot. I mean, I like JobVite. Now, is it my favorite? Tough to say because the environment I started in was a small company. Would it work in a larger company? And that's so when you say what's your favorite, there are a lot of it sounds like I'm dancing, but I'm not. It's just that there are a lot of questions that need to be asked to determine if it's fair. Do I think JobVite is great for a large 500,000 person company? I don't think so. Do I think Taleo is great for a large 500,000 person company? I'm not a Taleo fan. I don't like ISIMs. My interactions with them have for both have not been great. I don't dislike Taleo. I don't like it. But I think part of the problem is because Taleo's generic I don't like. If when Taleo does it specifically for your company, I've seen it 3 times and each one's a little different. That's actually not too bad. I haven't found one reason to like ISIMs yet. Sorry, I just haven't.
I know.
Um,
I know.
um, to me, a lot of it is also a matter of how much do they update it, what do they add to it, and how easy is it to integrate with. ISIMs is super hard to integrate with. So if I wanted to use the HireTool API to constantly keep contact information updated in iCIMS, if I started now, I would be lucky if I had it done by the year 2020. There are other tools, if I started now, it'd be done by April because they're so easy to integrate with. That's part of the biggest problem I see right now. I like the newer ones better than the older ones because the older ones are legacy, and a lot of the legacy ones are not capable of updating for the newer things. And they say, well, yes, we've updated, we've done this and this, but really all they've done is create a new UI. They really haven't done anything. They've just said, we're going to keep the same backend. We're just going to create a new UI, make it look prettier. Okay, congratulations. Can I add an API to it to update contact info? Well, no, because our backend is legacy. It's old. Okay, well, great. Congratulations. Except I need it. So I don't need
Now,
old.
I had another question. This actually
Is
was
that
coming
you
up.
or somebody else? Because I
It's
keep
not.
seeing
This is a
Q3,
habit.
Q3. Oh, it's a
It's a
habit.
it's a habit of me saying I have no. It's really from a friend asking for a friend. They were
You
talking.
have friends?
I
Wow. No, I'm joking, joking, joking. I'm one of them. Keep going.
Stop it. So
Yeah.
Robert, and I say Lays, I'm going to say that, was talking about something that had CRM capabilities, and I was wondering, like, my favorite. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about Hello Talent and how they have some of those type of capabilities.
Yeah, Hello Talent is a pretty cool little tool. I actually like it. They have a CRM capability in it. They make it very simple for you to grab people from virtually any social network and stick into the CRM, which is really cool. Um, and retrospectively thinking about it, and I guess I should have. Hello Talent is definitely a really good tool that I really like, and their integration is real simple. They can integrate with almost anybody in a quick. They're very agile, very quick. Um, so Hello Talent is a good tool. I actually have it. I don't use it as much as I could, mainly because I don't need the full ATS side of it because I don't do jobs. But I do use it for other things, which is mainly the CRM side. Um, and the thing I like about it is the ability to import and export is really good. So that comes in really handy for someone like me who likes to export data, who likes to manipulate data and then stick it back in or stick it somewhere else or whatever. Just stick it. It's actually one of the best tools. They were actually at SourceCon, did really well. Got mentioned a few times. I mean, yeah, Hello Talent's a good tool, and I think their pricing model is quite reasonable.
Yeah, I like free because I know that free component's always helpful.
Well,
Last
obviously free is free. That's why I didn't speak about it, but they do have a nice pricing model for the the more than free versions, and it's
Yeah,
still a very
exactly.
comfortable. That's what I mean. Like it's like the person who said something about data miner and it's expensive. I'm like, really? Every scraping tool that's worth of junk that I've seen are 3 or 4 times that price. The same thing with HelloTown. Most of these CRMs I've seen that give the similar things are a lot more expensive. Luxo, to me, I mean, Luxo is actually quite reasonable. So is HelloTalent. I mean, they're both very reasonable. The difference to me is the fact that Luxo pretty much will only scrape out of LinkedIn, and I think AngelList, if I remember correctly, although they do want to grow that, it's still a great tool. But HelloTalent can take the info out of pretty much any social network, and that's the advantage. Of course, Hello Talent's been around longer. Luxo hasn't been around as long. So, I mean, Hello Talent, I think is a really good tool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not. I wish I had thought about it when you asked the first question. I just,
Same.
for some reason, I had my mind on. Whenever you say ATS CRM, the ATS always gets your attention first, and most ATSs are legacy or enterprise level. There are very few ATSs that are for mid and smaller companies comparatively speaking. I'm not saying there are, but if there's 1,000 ATSs out there, you can bet 750 of them are probably for enterprise level, and maybe enterprise level only. And then there's 250 that might be able to handle everything, or are just mid-level, or just small. I mean, I know some ATSs that don't want if you don't have at least 50,000 people in your company, they don't even want to talk to you, which I think is ridiculously stupid. Last time I checked, money is money, but I guess the green from a 100,000 person company is more than the green from a 40,000 person company, and I just don't know the difference.
Well, you know what? You brought up a really good point, which will lead us into our last question because Robert had a question. Robert Lays, and he had asked because we're talking. If you had a single recruiter shop, like you're the only recruiter in there, what three tools would you recommend?
Okay, we are not going to count ATSs and CRMs as tools for the purposes of this. We're just not. Um, three tools. First of all, if they're free, it doesn't matter. But let's say three tools. Um, for me right now, HireTool, Data Miner, and probably Email Qualifier. But I will say this: um, Profit and Talent IQ are kind of right there. So I'm not sure three is operable. You got to look at it from the staffing sourcing life cycle. Finding them is most important. What one tool gives you the best chance to find candidates? Right now, I think it's HireTool. The next thing is you got to be able to contact them, which means you got to be able to find contact info. HireTool is great, but no one tool is 100%. So having a backup plan, Profit as an example, is good. Then, of course, you got to be able to get the data out of wherever it is and put it somewhere, and that's where the scraping tool comes in. So you got to think about it from the staffing life cycle. What you really need is at least one really good tool that can find them, and make sure you can find it in multiple places. HireTool can. Then you need probably two tools that can find content info because none is 100%. At least two, maybe even three, but let's say two. So Profit and HireTool. And if I had to throw in a third, probably I would do Lucia only because it does seem to do a good job of finding phone numbers. Although, like I said, there are other tools. And then finally, you need to be able to get all the information, put it into a pretty format to stick it somewhere. And that's where the data miner comes in. So that's the way I would do it. So three isn't really an apropos number. I would go with five, and those are the ones. But if you had caught me the three, it would probably be HireTool, data miner, and Profit.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. That was perfect timing. We're actually at the end. I do want to remind everybody that we have been recording this, and we will be sending it out to everybody as soon as possible. But again, I would love to thank you all for coming. And Dean, thank you so much again for sharing all of those tools. Some of you had asked questions that we didn't get to answer. I will be giving those over to Dean, and we'll be working on trying to get the answer to you as soon as possible. So I appreciate you all for coming, and everybody have a great day. Happy
Hey,
Monday.
hey, Jackie, give me a holler.
All right, perfect.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.